Welcome to Within the Madness, the men's national title game edition. This is the final Within the Madness for this tournament season. Now, we were hoping to get two good championship games. All right, we were, the women's did their part. The men's, Baylor wasn't interested in that. Baylor routs Gonzaga 86-70 to win a national title. As always, joined by Raymond Lyons and Cardo Dudley Jr. All right, just want to hear you guys' initial take on this, man. And obviously, congratulations to Baylor, joining Stanford women's as a team, finishing atop the rankings. So.
Well, there's two ways to be, for excitement. I know it could be competitive, but I felt like tonight was an exciting game because it was excitement from dominance and dominating on the defensive end on the floor. Really, from the opening tip, they set the defensive tone. They was in Gonzaga's. They were just on Gonzaga because they was on them like white on rice. They couldn't shake them, and Gonzaga did. You could tell they hadn't seen a team that defend like this and this as athletic. You know what I'm saying, with the length and depth that they have, man. Like I remember throughout the season, it was kind of conversation like which team is better between Florida State and Baylor because they similar. They lead with defense with great athleticism and length, and a lot of guys that can come in and defend most positions on the roster. And my whole thing was they're similar on the defensive end, but Baylor got dudes that can score. That's the difference. You know what I'm saying? And Florida State struggles to score. And not just score break you down, make plays, and get other guys involved too. They got three dynamic guards led by Davion Mitchell, and you saw what Jared Butler did tonight. What he do? Tie Carmelo Anthony in the championship game. It's Carmelo Anthony though. You know what I'm saying? Same production. That's big time. I just felt like Gonzaga got rocked and they couldn't recover. And honestly, God's truth was they just weren't athletic enough across the board to deal with them. They got strapped. And on the other end, they couldn't get past those dudes. So what else can you do? You know what I mean? And then Baylor blitzed them from 3-point range. I think in the first half, they started out 5 for 9 on the game, but in the first half, they finished the first half with shooting 7 to 12. And that really, when they got that big of a gap, Gonzaga couldn't walk them down because they couldn't stop them. And they were struggling to score. They had to get tough shots to even score. Also, Baylor's defense forced 8 first half turnovers. Gonzaga is one of the best executing teams in the country, man. You don't really ruffle them up, and they got rocked. Their point guards not only were they bad passes and leading in the turnovers, they couldn't even dribble at the time. They were so disrupted. They were turning themselves over. Like Nembhard was dribbling up the sideline, just dribble the ball out of bounds and stuff like that. That's them worried about what Baylor is doing and worried about that physicality and the length and stuff like that. What Gonzaga did shoot well from deep. I know they kind of woke up a little bit in the second half, but they shot 29% from the game. In the first half, they were 1 for 6. Well, the only thing that kept them in the game is because of the aggressiveness of Baylor that Gonzaga got to the free throw line. But in the first half, they shot 12 for 13. But Baylor attacked them in the second half and almost matched that. So that's why you get the kind of win that Baylor have. I saw Mark Few kind of adjusted with the zone in the first half. It worked to a certain extent. But Scott Drew made an adjustment to kind of counteract that with some lob plays and stuff and force them out of that zone. And obviously with guys like Jared Butler hitting threes and whatnot, it was really nothing Gonzaga could go to try to counteract what Baylor was doing. Baylor just dominated all around. It was, let's be real, there was no aspect of the game where Gonzaga was better than Baylor, period. And that's why Baylor are the national champions.
Yeah, man, Gonzaga was just outmatched in every way. That was, like Cardale said, that's a game that even though it was lopsided, you enjoy watching that one just from the flawlessness of how Baylor played. I mean, they made very few mistakes and they were just dominant, man. Like, even when Gonzaga threw the zone at them, it kind of threw them for a loop. And I saw the reactions. People were excited that Gonzaga was able to cut the lead down to 10, but I'm pretty sure they went into halftime, talked about that. and came out and just attacked it and made them go back to man. And once I saw that, I knew it was over. Like when you think the best course of action is to resort to the thing that got you down by damn near 20 in the first half, it's a wrap, man. It's a wrap. And I mean, I just think Gonzaga felt it. You could tell in their body language they're usually a more energetic bunch than this, but all that was out the window when they was just fighting for their life. This was like the physical representation on the basketball court of somebody in the middle of the ocean just trying to stay afloat. Like it wasn't nothing they could do, man. They just got overwhelmed from tip. Like Baylor jumped out to that 9-0 lead, and I was like, man, going down to a team like that, it's hard to climb out that hole because they defend so well, and they're gonna keep scoring on you. So it's gonna take some. It's going to take some miraculous stuff to counter that, man. And Gonzaga just couldn't pull it out. And I mean, it's no shame to them. You know, they had a great season. They just ran into a team that gave them problems in every area of the game. You know, styles make fights, and Baylor had the perfect style to counter everything Gonzaga does well. You know, I mean, Gonzaga they out executed everybody they played, but it's difficult to do that when everybody on Baylor can guard everybody on Gonzaga, you know, fairly easily. I mean, it's what can you do? Like, it wasn't nothing they can go to where Baylor didn't have a counter for it, or you know, or a way to negate that advantage. You know, Timmy has been the deciding factor in pretty much every game they played. We saw it against UCLA, where UCLA was switch, and Gonzaga could just dump it down to him, and it's an easy bucket. It wasn't rocking like that tonight, but because of Baylor's athleticism, size, and strength. So, I mean, I was hoping it wouldn't go this way, but once they tipped the ball up, you could kind of see where this was headed fairly quickly. And I mean, it just is what it is, man. Congrats to Baylor and congrats to Gonzaga. You know, I kind of wanted to see the perfect season go down, but Baylor wasn't having it.
Hey, man, it's like anything else. You got to earn it, right? You got all the way that far if you're Gonzaga. It was up to you. You had one game to complete the perfect season. You know, like you guys said, it's masterful defensive performance, and that was kind of the thing that I hope sticks with a lot of people coming from both sides of the tournament. That end of the floor still matters. It's kind of still really important. It take you a long way. We've seen on both the men's and the women's side, the teams that can defend with size, length, and athleticism, they terrorize people. There's things they can do to people where they can take things away and they're just gone. There's not a counter to it. Unless you got just as many to match up to counter, like you guys mentioned, you know what, out of luck, man. It just is what it is. It felt bad watching some Gonzaga players just trying to even run the offense and dribble to a spot. Like it was, Baylor just attacked them. Like there was so many tweets and stuff I retweeted throughout the game. I wish I could share them all, but it was like something to the effect. It was literally just, we watch bullying at its finest on a national stage. You know what I'm saying? And that's the kindest, most PC way I think I could say it among some of the other things out there. But it was bullies, man. Everybody's weight room clearly isn't equal. Athletes aren't equal either. Like Baylor's guards had no issues moving folks out their way. The guards.
Hoopers.
Yep. Hoopers, like you said.
Hoopers.
They had no issue.
They grew up on the playground. They ain't stay in the gym. They ain't stay in a nice AC gym. They was out there on the block. They was hooping on concrete. That's how they, with the old heads.
And that's why it was a walk in the park for them. Essentially what? It was 40 minutes. You're telling me right now it's 40 minutes? No breathing room. Like Jalen Suggs was the only dude that was on Gonzaga that was okay and able to create and enjoy life to a degree, at least to figure out something for himself. What you want one person to do when everybody else is in maximum security? Everybody
Man.
else, if he gives up the ball, it probably can't come back to you because they can't find a way to get it back. Like you get to the rim, there's other athletes waiting on you. And like, Cardell and Ray, you guys mentioned, they were just rotating bodies like, like an elite D line when you got 8 strong. It just doesn't matter what 4 you roll out there. Somebody getting pressure. It didn't matter. New body, new number, whatever. It's not changing. You're not getting to the rim and finishing. We're gonna board. You're not going by. We're in transition. Oh, hey, the starters are back. No, nothing's getting better for you. Like Ray said, they was in the middle of the ocean, and that little plank of wood they were holding on to, it was breaking, splintering with every little crash and wave. Man, it was some dark times, man. But it was great to watch.
And another thing, 16 offensive rebounds, man. When the last time you saw that happen in a championship or a game? Vital, who he had 8 by himself. That was more than Gonzaga had all game. Matter of fact, they had 5. So he had more by himself than Gonzaga's whole team. He was bullying them. He looked like PJ Tucker out there, guarding 1 through 5, coming behind, blocking shots, big body. Let's be for real. It is what it is, man. Like Scott Drew looked like he went to every hood internationally and stateside. He just went to the hood and just got athletes, man. And this is for these people that be like, he's not skilled, but he's a great athlete. He's just athletic. He's not skilled. Yeah, you see what it does to people. Remember, Kawhi Leonard, when he first got to the league, was just a great athlete with a length. But when you add that skill, you get an MVP candidate. That's why the NBA loves those guys. Michael Jordan's the greatest player to ever play the game. Great athlete, highly skilled, smart, tough. You had it all. It's nothing you could do with a player like that. You just gotta take the ass whooping like a man. You know what I'm saying? Or on the women's side like a woman. So I mean, I just really hope this kind of joke things back because I'm tired of seeing trainers talking about he's skilled. But when I see him play defense, he's a matador. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody can score on him. Then he ain't that skilled. Maybe he's skilled offensively, but you gotta strap up, man, if you want to win. It's that, and that will never change. And I know defensive-minded coaches across the country at every level, like yes, they were sent back home refreshed, like yes. It's not. They loved it, man. So shout out to Baylor, man. They earned it. They deserve it. They've been playing like this all year. Like they've been one of my favorite teams to watch. So that's why I was like, I don't know how this will go. I know Gonzaga's dangerous, but the boys in Baylor don't play, man. These some dogs.
And this is the other thing, just add on to the skill part too. All that skill is cool and all, but when you deal if your skill isn't there when you're dealing with this type of resistance, all skill ain't equal. You can't get off what you need to get off. So,
But you could be skilled, but a lot of people are drills.
yeah,
Like great
I guess
defenders get a
way
read
to
on you. So if I know what drill you're gonna do, you're easy to defend. You gotta play basketball too. You gotta like that's why the playground's so important for a lot of you gotta be creative so you can keep defenders at bay. Get them guessing. You know what I'm saying? And Gonzaga just don't have enough players outside of subs to really do that. And that's why they got locked up.
Man, all you heard while watching that game was guard. Like that was it. Did you guys have any final thoughts you want to add to this game or share your let's get to the all tournament team, shall we?
Yep.
All right. Please tell me whose is whose. I'm gonna start here. This you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, sir. The floor is yours. Figure it out with you.
Yeah, man. So this is my all tournament team. We got Cameron Krutwig from Loyola Chicago. They had a great run this season. They fell a little bit short, but he was just dominant. The game that really stands out was against Illinois when he just straight up outplayed Kofi Cockburn. And I mean, I don't know if too many people had that on their 2021 bingo card, but man, just straight up skill, man, and a tough player. Loyola used him uh, sort of similar to how Denver uses Jokic at the NBA level. You know, he just initiates the offense and he's able to score as well as find other guys for easy baskets, and it's just tough to deal with. Um, Kevin Obanor for Oral Roberts, another school that had a good run. You know, he's a pro, man, and he displayed it. You know, with his length, his athleticism, his explosiveness. You know, he was just tough to deal with the whole time they were in the tournament. Of course, Drew Timmy from Gonzaga. You know, they almost got to the promised land, but yeah, his work spoke for itself the entire season. You know, another skilled guy. He was putting people in the torture chamber down in that block, man. Just tough to deal with. You see what it took for to contain him. From it took a team like Baylor, which there aren't many of in the country, to kind of keep him in check. Um, then moving on to Max Acemus from Oral Roberts. I mean, he's a leading scorer in the country, and you know, and the world got to see it in the tournament. You know, I know a lot of people probably didn't pay attention to them during the regular season, but yeah, he can fill it up. And you know, the combo of him and Obanor, they were just putting people lights out by themselves. And you know, when you got a lethal duo like that, it's tough to beat. You know, he's another pro. You know, he's Cardell says a lot about guys professional scorer, and he's definitely that. And of course, the newly minted national champ, Davion Mitchell. Man, what more can you say? He brings it on both ends. You know, highly skilled. He can score. He can defend. Tough, strong. Just man, just a hell of a player. Definitely excited to see him at the next level, and definitely huge congrats to him for you know, for leading his team to a national championship. So that's my five right there, gentlemen.
All right. I think this is you, Cardell.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Obviously, Jalen Suggs, man, what he did throughout the tournament, honestly, throughout the year, man, you know, it speaks for itself, man. Like, even now in the national championship against this level of team defensively, he still managed to put up an efficient 22 points. Um, is the reason why he's going to probably be a top 5 pick, depending on who, you know, gets wherever each team lands in the lottery. He's going to be drafted high, man. He's a dynamic floor general and highly competitive, and he's a winner, man. You know, even though they ain't get it done now, he's a winner. He's you're gonna have to beat him, man. He ain't gonna fold. So that's exactly the type of player you want to build your franchise around when you're trying to hand the keys to somebody as a floor general. I think Davion Mitchell is he's right on par with Suggs, man. He just ain't get the attention or whatnot. Because he had a mob with him that he ain't really have to do a lot. But what he did was he impacted the game in every way. You know, he got his 14 points, 5 assists, and 2 rebounds. But he was efficient. He shot 51% from the field during the year. That's why, you know, I had to put him on there, even though before they even won in the Final Four. And I'm just like, his consistency has been putting up Russ type numbers for the college level. You know what I'm saying? College don't let you rock out like that for most teams, where you playing the whole game where you get those numbers. In the NBA, with the way he impact all around, yeah, he gonna be putting up triple doubles fairly soon. So, you know, I love his game. You know, they're comparing him to Donovan Mitchell. I think he's more of a natural floor general than Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell is more of a natural too. So, but you know, last names, you know, people can be lazy with comparison sometimes, but you know, his game speaks for itself, man. Either way, he's gonna be in the league, and you know, I'm excited to see what he do at the next level. All right, obviously, Drew Timmy, he made a name for himself in this tournament. Gonzaga wouldn't have been in the national championship without him. He was oftentimes the mismatch outside of tonight because they just had a lot of bigs and athleticism to throw at him to wear him down. He can score from all 3 levels. He's smart, playing the low and high post. He's a Gonzaga type big man, man. You know what I'm saying? He highly skilled. It's gonna be interesting to see how he translates to the league. But you know, I wouldn't really bet against him, man. He got a little flair with him too. He got a little spirit with him as well, man. You know, even though they got, you know, they lost. Like I said, he had 12 points and 5 rebounds. 3 assists, 2 blocks, 5 of 7 shooting, and he was in foul trouble. Against that caliber of defense. So if he could, manage to put up some solid numbers against that caliber of defense, I think he'll be able to do some damage in the league, man. Especially with guys that tend to take that end off a lot. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you always got that going for you, man. So, but hell of a season, straight up. And Johnny Juzang, man, when he transferred from Kentucky, and I always loved this game from high school. I even covered his older brother, who's at Harvard. They came down here and played GW, so big time basketball runs in their family. So I'm in high school. I loved this game then. I know when he went to Kentucky, a lot of people kind of just say, obviously when you transfer, they look down on like, how are you transferring from Kentucky, man? That means you can't cut it if you transferring from Calipari. And he obviously proved that he could, because he led the way for UCLA, man. That magical run back to the Final Four and back to national relevance. You know what I mean? It's just his growth in his second year was just great. And oftentimes when UCLA needed a bucket or a score, no matter what time of the game, they turn to him. And that's saying something, man. He's the prototypical NBA size to play the 2, 6'6", 210, sophomore. Average 16 points, 4 rebounds, and 44% shooting from the field, 35% from 3, 87 from the free throw range, from the free throw line. I mean, what else you need to say? I mean, he's on par to be an NBA prospect. I don't know if he's going to test the waters this year. He might come back, try to finish what they got so close to doing, but the boy nice, and I'm excited to see how he grows. And Quentin Grimes, man, like he was another kid that transferred, and then, people kind of looked down on him, stock went down. But he went to Houston with Kelvin Sampson and got better all around, got tougher, and took to coaching. Kind of the rep with him while he transferred was he wasn't receptive to coaching, but he proved all that wrong. He killed all that noise. He became a leader. You saw what Houston did, man. They were right there in the Final Four. They lost to the national champions, and you see why they lost to the national champions. The national champions don't play, man. But and Quentin Grimes, they had the best game. They focused on him. He had 13, but he was 4 for 12 shooting, 1 for 8 from 3. But that doesn't knock everything the damage he did throughout the year and leading up to that game, man. Baylor's a special team. That's why they're the national champions. But my man averaged 17 on the year, almost 18, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and shot 40% from 3. 6'5", 205, man. And junior, he definitely on the NBA radar. There's no reason, I don't see why he wouldn't be, man. He had a hell of a season. That's my 5, and just keep going. I'm just excited to see what these guys take it from here.
All right, go ahead and knock out my 5 real quick. Wrap this up. Like Ray had Cameron Crutwig. What was you calling him, Cardell? Midwest Jokic?
Yeah. Mid-major Jokic.
My bad, mid-major Jokic. I'll make sure to remember that because you penned it early in case we got to keep that going forward. He was pivotal. He's one of those pieces where I know you mentioned Timmy earlier for Gonzaga. Loyola doesn't get to where they get without a performance he had, especially down there in the paint for them. For a team, he played a pivotal role. Bigs still matter, since people think there's a lot of things that apparently supposedly went out of style, and 2021 is here to remind folks. You had Kevin Obanor, half of that dynamic duo at Oral Roberts. Ray, it hurt me. I felt bad splitting them two up. Like I went through some things typing out these lists for both the men's and women's side. All right. So yeah, it hurt. I didn't know he was a problem. Folks didn't really have an answer for him. The run that they made, those two were super dynamic. And that's a name some folks should get familiar with. All right. I think that's safe to say there. We've talked about, Ray and Cardell definitely talked about them a couple of times on our way to this point during Within the Madness. We got Drew Timme. I don't think there's too much to add there. Definitely looking forward to see what he decides to do, whether he decides to leave or stay in school, and what he adds to his game if he does come back. Again, it seems like the theme here, we're not going to judge folks for what Baylor did to them. Doesn't take away what they did prior to getting Baylored. essentially. It's pivotal. It's not their fault. They did what they did. Johnny Juzang, huge for UCLA. We talk about a team that went in there, play-in game to Final Four. Does not happen without him on his roster. Pivotal the entire way. Like you said, Cardell, Quentin Grimes, big for Houston again. Can't knock him. They got Baylor. And if you're at the top, and clearly if you're at the top of Baylor's scouting report, it's going to be a long night for you. And that's been proven consistently throughout Baylor's run. So you guys had anything final you want to add as we wrap up within the madness? This was fun to knock this out.
Definitely.
It got more fun after the first 2 weeks because the first 2 weeks hurt. Openly say that. But want to thank you guys for hanging with us through within the madness.
Defense wins championships. We're going to leave it at that.
And also, athletes still matter. It still matters. Some of those corny things like the run fast, jump high, long limbs. They bother some of the people that don't have those things tremendously. That's the great equalizer. Hey, look, I'm super skilled. Cool. That dude got a 7'5" wingspan and can move like someone half your size. Have fun. Enjoy life. Baylor. People just got Baylor again. Shout out to Baylor. And it's there for women's for what they did, winning their respective tournaments. And it feels good to close the chapter on the 2021 college basketball season. And I'm sure there's going to be many more updates with the never-ending bottomless transfer portal. That's like a whole added dimension between now.
Hey, stop. Don't even say portal no more. Just call it college free agency, dog. That's what it is. Let's just call it that.
So between now and the start of the season, look, I'm going to take this new approach where whatever the roster says game 1, that's when I'll probably kind of accept that might actually be it, even though there's going to be like this small asterisk that says this is pending possible free agents to be signed, because we saw that happen during this year.
Yep.
But y'all have a great night. For Cardell, Ray, and myself, it's Within the Madness, the men's edition.